everyone, my name is Cassidy Merriman, and my article topic is on Tattooing the Self by Jung Moon, Christy Jonigo, and Kim Johnson. So I chose this topic because in today's society, tattoos are a really big area of interest, and also because I wanted to see why women get tattoos. I wanted to see what these authors had and what they found from their study. Secondly, a lot of my family members have also gotten tattoos that they've regretted getting at a later date. I wanted to see if these three authors had any insight into this from their study and if any of their participants felt the same way. Last, I have also found it interesting when looking at other people's tattoos. I like to ask them what they think of their tattoos and what the meaning is behind their tattoos. And I also really just enjoyed this title and reading over this article. So the main purpose of this article and this study was to see how tattoos affect women's self-perceptions of themselves as well as their behaviors. The researchers proposed 3 questions throughout their study. They first wanted to see what the meaning behind these women's tattoos were. Second, what changes in self-perception did these women attribute to their tattoos? And last, what changes in behavior did these women attribute to their tattoos? Previous studies have shown that 36% of individuals between the ages of 18 and 25 and 40% of individuals between the ages of 26 and 40 have permanent tattoos. The studies have also shown that women are surpassing men in getting tattoos today. Other research has attempted to explore whether tattoos were an outward expression of self. Shelton and Peters, 2006, found that their participants wanted to have their tattoos removed because they no longer felt that their tattoos were an expression of their self today. Sweetman, 1999, discusses that tattoos are a way of anchoring oneself as an expression of their individuality. Participants in this study shared that tattoos increased their uniqueness as well as their self-confidence when creating an act of self-creation. This past research provides an understanding for the current research that is focusing on uncovering relationships between tattoos, ideas about the self, specifically in relation to women. 29% of participants were recruited due to personal acquaintances by the researchers, and 71% of participants were recruited from postings that the researchers posted around the schools. These postings stated that the researchers were looking for individuals, specifically women, who were above the age of 18 and had at least one tattoo that wanted to help with research. 30 women between the ages of 18 and 38 participated in this study. These women were asked to participate in one-on-one interviews comprised of open-ended questions where they were asked about their tattoos and how they felt that their tattoos helped express who they were as a person. These interviews took place in various locations around campus, including libraries and coffee shops, and the interviews lasted about 40 minutes, and all interviews were recorded for later depiction. Results of the study indicated that 57% of participants had multiple tattoos ranging from 2 to 8. 90% of participants identified themselves as Caucasian, and 70% were undergraduates from the specified university. More than half of the participants obtained their first tattoo before the age of 18. The study found that 87% of these participants were satisfied with their tattoos and planned to get another one. About half of the participants, 53% to be exact, preferred smaller tattoos than larger ones. And a lot of these smaller tattoos consisted of objects or items such as flowers, stars, hearts, religious items, and even cartoon characters. Participants favored putting these tattoos in locations that could eventually be covered up if need be. One of the primary focus areas of the study was to ask women what the meaning of their tattoos were. They found that most women's answers to the question fell in one of 5 categories: self, life event, relationship, spiritual, or no assigned or recognized meaning. Many participants used tattoos to express their personal values, and some tattoos represented favorite personal interests, for example, comic book characters or even lyrics to a song. Another meaning of the tattoos included a past life event. For example, one woman from the study explained her tattoo of a symbol that represented her mission trip to India. Many others focused on relationships for meaning of their tattoo. An example of this is illustrated through one woman's story of her and her husband's matching tattoos that represented their love for one another. Tattoos have also been shown to have spiritual meaning. An example from the article is 2 women who got Egyptian symbols on them that represented eternal life and protection. Last, some participants shared that their tattoos did not have a meaning at all. These women shared that their decision to get their tattoo was the result of impulsive behavior. For some women, these impulsive behaviors eventually became the meaning behind their tattoo. Another significant topic from the study was discovering the reason that some women wanted to change their tattoos. This motivation to change tattoos came from life transitions, going to college, getting a new job, getting married, or simply making meaning out of an impulsive decision. Changes in meaning due to impulsivity came from participants wanting to feel better about their tattoos. One participant got a tattoo of a rainbow while in college. At the time of getting this tattoo, she had no meaning behind it. Eventually, her father decided to announce that he was homosexual, so she now has assigned the meaning of supporting her father's sexuality to the tattoo. Most participants shared that their tattoos were a reflection of who they were as a person. They felt as if their tattoos reminded them of what they valued, what their interests were, and what their heritage was. Rhonda, who is a Native American, got a flower tribe symbol tattooed on her because it means strength. The authors also found that feelings of dissatisfaction with tattoos and wanting to remove tattoos were associated with unwanted former identities of self-views. Participants wanted to remove certain tattoos because they felt as though their tattoos did not align with who they had grown to be. Obtaining tattoos also resulted in participants viewing themselves and ultimately causing behavioral changes. 30% of participants said that they gained confidence by getting their tattoo, and 76 shared that they did not care what others thought about their tattoos. After stating this, the researchers found that most participants, after getting their tattoos, paid more attention to how people thought about them and how they wore their clothing when out in public. Overall, the researchers gained insight into women's experiences after getting tattoos and shared the different meanings women attribute to their tattoos. The researchers found that tattoos were a way for women to express their true identity. A limitation found from this study is that nearly 30% of the participants in the study were personal acquaintances of the researchers. This could have increased a bias towards individuals who feel more comfortable sharing information with the researchers. This article can be related to the article "Tattoos Are Like Potato Chips, You Can't Just Have One, The Process of Becoming and Being a Collector" by D. Angus Vale. Vale's purpose behind this article is to examine the process tattoo collectors undergo to become collectors. This article relates the information to Mazda's stages of becoming deviant, which are affinity, affiliation, and signification, when explaining the meaning behind becoming a collector. Vale underwent interviews with different collectors at a tattoo convention in the United States to fully understand this phenomena. Vail shares that the research by Copes and Forsworth 1993 examined tattoos as a sign of extroversion. This can be related back to the tattoo in the self because the authors share that in both articles, the authors touch on the fact that tattoos were reminders of personal experiences. Most women shared that their tattoo was a representation of who they were as a person, and likewise, in tattoo collectors, these individuals share the same meaning of their self and their memories in the form of tattoos. In both articles, the authors touch on deviant behavior. In Tattoo in the Self, the authors share that an image of a woman with a tattoo was rated as less fashionable, athletic, attractive, caring, and intelligent. They also shared that the attitudes were negative because having a tattoo conflicted with the traditional demeanor and passive gender role expected of women in the Western society. This can be related to Vail's research because tattoo collecting can be looking at as a form of deviance. Both articles help us to understand that tattoos visible to others share a negative connotation in society. In both articles, examples are shared that help us better to understand the acceptance of tattoos in society. Vail shares, even though one of the interviewees is obviously devoted to body modification, he still is concerned with getting along in normative society. By not tattooing himself above his neckline, he will be able to pass more easily. Likewise, Moon shares that most participants stated they did not care what others thought about their tattoos. However, participants said after tattooing, they became aware of what they wore around others, using clothing to highlight or hide their tattoos according to the situations that they were in. Based on these findings, we can take away that tattoos are a form of dress for young women and that this can be explained by Goffman's concept of self-presentation, which helps us to understand that individuals use tattoos to communicate specific known attributes about themselves. The researchers suggest a follow-up study on how tattoos influence changes in self-perception across the wearer's lifespan. Both of these articles touch on the fact that at some point in time, tattoos have been shown to be a deviant form of behavior. Just remember, deviance is explained as an action or behavior that violates social norms. Based on what you have understood from my video and what we have learned in class about tattoos, why are tattoos slowly becoming less and less deviant? Thank you for watching.